Welcome to the What Matters Marketing Show, hosted by Kim Skilton. This is your place to be inspired, to learn, and to build the business of your dreams with actionable marketing tools, tips, and resources. Kim Skilton is an award-winning marketer who has worked with some of the world's biggest brands. With more than 20 years of industry experience, Kim knows firsthand what it takes to build a business from the ground up. If you love to learn and are ready to take action, you're in the right place. Click follow so you don't miss an episode. Now let's get into the show.
Hello. Thank you for joining me today for the What Matters Marketing podcast, where we're going to have a look at 10 tips to SEO success. Now, it is probably one of my most favorite marketing strategies, the good old SEO, search engine optimization. So today I'll share with you these 10 tips that will hopefully give you that focus and clarity on what to prioritize, so then you can confidently go forward knowing how to essentially approach your SEO that's going to then drive those rankings, increased rankings for you in the search engine results, which is ultimately going to drive more organic traffic to your website. And I mean, who doesn't want more traffic to their website? And who doesn't want more free traffic to their website? All right, so let's dive in. First, let's start with defining SEO. So SEO is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your website through organic search engine results. If we step back a little bit and then look at, well, what's a broader SEO strategy? How do we define that? Well, ultimately, an SEO strategy is a plan to create, optimize, and promote your content to improve your website's visibility and search engines results, essentially attracting more organic traffic to your website. So pretty straightforward. So if we think about SEO's role is to improve your website's search engine rankings, what we want to do first before we do anything else is understand, where do we stand today? What's our baseline? How's our website's performance today? How visible is it right now? So the best way to do this is to create, if you don't already have an account, is to create a Google Search Console account. Now this will give you an overview of your site's performance, including things like how often people see your site, how many times they click through, and what keywords are driving traffic to your site already. To me, the three key benchmarks to look at to establish this baseline would be what is the organic traffic? So what sort of volume, what numbers are we talking? What keyword rankings you already have? And then also your backlinks. So if we look at that organic traffic, we can use a tool like Google Analytics to have a look at what our overall site traffic. But then if you look at your traffic sources, organic traffic is one of those. And you can, what I tend to do is look at, say, the last 12 months by month and look at the traffic source individually over those months and just see, what do they trend like and what sort of percentage. So you can look at raw numbers, but also as a percentage of traffic, what is that organic driving you? Then with keyword rankings, these are your website's organic rankings and search results for particular keywords. So in other words, it's how high your pages show up on Google. And these keyword rankings are important because the higher ranking pages tend to get more organic search traffic, which is probably no surprise to anybody. So things that you would want to look for would be things like, what are your keywords that you already rank for and what the ranking position you have for those keywords. What's the search volume like for each of those keywords? So that means how many times per month are people searching for them? And then how much traffic do each of those bring in? And I would suggest taking note of your top 5 organic keywords, and that would form part of your baseline. I also mentioned backlinks. So you want to check how many websites have links pointing to your site. And ideally, we want these to be sites where it makes sense. So, for example, if you were a beauty salon, you're probably not going to get much value from being on a plumber's website. You'd be better off being on, say, a local real estate agent's website where they specialize in the suburb of Miami on the Gold Coast, and your salon was based in Miami, then there's more context around that. So websites with a higher number of backlinks tend to have higher organic search rankings. So that's why we do like to get our websites onto other websites. So the link to our website onto other websites. So you're thinking, okay, that's a great tip, but how do I find out where my website is? So what you can do is sign into your Google Search Console. Obviously select your website. It's likely that you only have the one website on there anyway. And then in the left-hand side menu, you can click on links, and then under external links, you'll see your top linking sites. And this shows you what domains have links back to your website. So just to recap on understanding, I guess, where you can go, or 3 benchmarks to look at to establish your baseline is go to Google Analytics to determine your organic traffic, what kind of volume in raw numbers, but possibly better to look at it as a percentage. Is it driving? So how is your organic traffic already performing compared to your other sources of traffic? What are your keyword rankings? So what keywords are you ranking for, and at what position are they in? And what sort of volume, what sort of search volume do they have each month? And then how much traffic do they bring in each month? And then lastly, on the keywords, I'd also take note of your top 5 organic keywords. And then I covered off the backlinks. So you want to understand where your site is featured on other websites that are then linking back to your website. And I gave you how to do that, and that's by going into Google Search Console. Next, we would, when we look at our SEO audits that we do for clients, we will then also look at competitors. So what we want to do is understand, I guess, really how are we performing compared to the competitor set. And there might be, valuable keywords that competitors are ranking for and we're not. So we need to establish those. We also might identify some gaps. So that's another opportunity for you to tap into some more organic search traffic. When we look at competitors, you probably will need to use a tool such as SEMrush. There's a few freebies out there, but to get any sort of level or quality of insight and good data, you will probably have to pay for a tool like SEMrush. And ultimately, these keywords then are going to, that you establish these keywords, then you're going to go and put the effort behind those to create content around those to support those on your website that will then ultimately drive more organic traffic to your website. So once you've completed this baseline SEO audit, you're now armed with the information you need to be able to set your SEO goals and KPIs. We've now done a little bit of an audit. We've done the research. We understand where we are today, and then we go, okay, we now can set our goals and our KPIs. And our goals are the end outcome that you want to achieve over a specific time. And then the KPIs are measurable values that help you track your progress against your goals. So each month you would have a look at how did we perform when it came to our KPIs. So as an example, you might be a hotel that is keen to drive more direct bookings. So you have a marketing goal to increase your SEO traffic by X%. However, you can also put a revenue figure to that. which as an example might be your SEO goal could be increase organic revenue by 300,000 over the next 12 months. So you can see you can get quite granular on what you want your SEO strategy to do for your business. I guess some other KPIs you might want to look at for SEO could be your organic impressions, organic traffic, and of course your keyword rankings. The other thing, actually I always forget to mention this one, but I would also look at your average click-through rate and possibly look at those backlinks as well. It might be a key goal of yours to increase your backlinks. So I'd possibly look at those as adding those to your KPIs as well. All right, so what we've just done is covered the key elements that you need to be able to determine where your website is right now, how it is performing, and then setting what you want your goals to be and your KPIs moving forward. Now we're ready to have a look at these 10 SEO tips that can help you drive that organic traffic. But just before we dive into that, I want to cover off two, categories you look at or define them as for SEO. And the first one is called on-page SEO. So that's also known as on-site. And then the second one is what we call off-page or off-site SEO. So on-site SEO encapsulates all the optimization techniques that you apply to your website. So they're on-site, they're on-page, they're on-site for your specific website, whereas off-site SEO refers to the actions that you take to optimize your website in inverted commas off-site or essentially in the World Wide Web, external to your website. Okay, now that we've got that covered, let's dive into these 10 tips to SEO success for your business. And we're going to start with some on-site SEO tactics. And the number one I have here is optimize information on your website. And that's, you're probably thinking, talk about state the obvious, but what I want to do here is get a little bit more specific for you. You want each of your pages to ensure that they have a title, URL, and description that relate to the keywords of your business and that specific page. You want to align these to ensure that you're maximizing your optimization. So for example, your about page would include keywords for what your business offers, your location, the market you serve, and your contact details, or it might even link to your contact page for those contact details. Your services page is going to outline each of your services. And once again, you're using keywords that align to your title, so your page title, and your meta description for that page. So if you really need to think of it as indexing, I guess, when you're trying to tell the search engines, help the search engines understand what your website's about and then what specific pages within your website is about. Just a little side note, if you probably already know this, but if you don't, if you have a WordPress site, you can use a great free plugin called Yoast, and it will certainly help guide you with being able to create title description or meta descriptions and title tags for your web pages. And also just note, as a local business, it can be important to have your NAP, your name, address, and phone number on each page of your website. And probably the best way to do that is just to put it into the footer of your website. All right, so that was number one. Number two, again, a little bit like stating the obvious, but you want to create compelling content. Now, there is more than one reason to justify creating compelling content for your website. And that is, obviously, if it is written well, it will answer the searcher's query. So if it's structured well, it has the keywords in there, it answers the query, it means that it's going to get served up because the search engine can find it but easier. And if you're not having people bounce off the page, so it's come up in the search engine, they've clicked onto your website through the search result. If they hang about and they read it, then that's an indicator to Google and other search engines that this is answering the person's query. Now, the other thing, when you're creating compelling content, it's going to provide you with content that you can share on your social media channels as well, which is going to further drive traffic to your website. And when you are regularly providing fresh content to your website, it is a really good indicator to the search engine that your site is active and committed to providing valuable information to its users. And of course, it's going to help position your business as the authority of what you're selling, what industry you're in, what you might specialize in. Okay, number 3, you want to optimize your site for mobile use. Now, I think globally most businesses are well and truly across this, but if you haven't yet taken that step to ensure that you have a mobile optimized site, you are lagging way behind. You need to make this an absolute priority. You just need to go to your Google Analytics and look at what devices people are visiting your website on. And I would say you would not be shocked to see at minimum 50%. A lot of websites are sitting as high as 80% visitation through mobiles. So you absolutely 100% have to make sure that your entire website, every single page, is producing well on a mobile website. And, the other major driver behind that is Google will penalize you if your website isn't optimized for mobile. You won't even show up in search rankings if you're not optimized. So make sure that you're doing it. And you've got to think about it from a user experience as well. If someone clicks onto your website and they're having to, pinch to either reduce the page or to blow it up to find out what they're looking for, a lot of people won't tolerate that, and they're just going to bounce off your site and go to the next search result, which then flags to Google that your website hasn't satisfied the user. And then that's going to impact on your rankings. All right, number 4, which I've sort of touched on just then, is the overall user experience. And definitely in the last, 5 to 8 years, maybe even longer, we've really started to hear those words more frequently. So even for small business, we've gone from, yes, we're satisfied to have a basic website. We now need to be very aware of what that customer journey is and what that customer experience is when they hit our website. We need to create an optimal experience for people online. You need to consider, what experience are they going through? What doorways do they come into your website? So what pages are they landing on? And what does that experience look like? What information are they seeking out? How will this influence your site navigation? Are your contact details prominent? Should they be? Where do you want them in the main navigation? Do you want them in the footer? Are you encouraging them to join your community by subscribing to your newsletter, or are you trying to get them to follow you on the socials? Have you considered your color scheme and your font family? Are they easy on the eye? Are they easy to digest? Is it logical in flow? Do your pages load quickly? And are your images optimized? Is it 100% clear what you do, who you do it for, and why you do it? Next, we're looking at off-site or off-page SEO tactics. First of all, we're going to look at number 5, which is your link strategy. So what is a link strategy? It's essentially identifying related websites that would make sense for you to link to and or have a link back to your website. So an example might be, if your business is in the wedding industry, you could look to list on, bridal directory sites or bridal specific websites. There's a number of, a lot of magazines have online publications as well. There's also been a heap of just general online bridal wedding helpful sites come online in the last 20 years. So they would be perfect for you to have a listing on. Whether it's free or paid, it would be a really good idea for you to list on sites like that. Now, another example might be that you could consider your industry association website. So I have quite a few clients in the tourism industry, and it would absolutely make sense for them to be a member of and listed on their local tourism body's website. It's also really great as an endorsement for your business if you can be on the peak industry body website. And you also want to ensure that when you're posting on your social media channels, that you link back to your website. And if your content is shared on other sites, that there is a link back to your website as well. So if you might get invited to be a co-contributor on a blog, or you might be interviewed on a podcast. You want to make sure that whenever those opportunities are happening, think of your link strategy and ensure that you ask or negotiate to get a link back to your website, because that will positively influence your SEO. Here's a sneaky one for number 6. Find and steal your competitors' broken backlinks. So this does sit within your overall link strategy approach. So let's start with, what is broken link building? Well, it essentially refers to finding links that don't work on other websites, insert competitors, and recommend that those websites link to yours instead. And so for this search engine optimization technique, you'll want to find your competitors' broken backlinks and then steal them. And really, to do this efficiently, you'll need to access a tool like SEMrush once again. Moz might do it, I can't recall actually, but SEMrush definitely offers it as a tool within their suite. And then so what you would do is enter your competitor's URL. You'll push certain buttons within the SEMrush tool, and it then spits out your competitors' broken links. You then look at those websites and determine whether it would be worthwhile you being on that website. You then manually reach out, so that could be a call or an email, to that website and say, hey, I noticed you've got such and such on your website. We've got an article, a more relevant or a more recently written, or we can help you with that particular piece of content and link back to our website. So that's another really great way to drive those backlinks. Yes, it might be a little bit more time intensive, but definitely can yield great results for you, which is also a really good reminder to make sure you're looking at your own website's broken backlinks and not leaving yourself open for your competition to do that same thing to you. Okay, number 7 in our 10 SEO tips is to create a Google business page. I'd like to think in 2024 that you have a Google business page, particularly if you're a local business. It's such a great free tool, and it provides you with a free opportunity to have your business displayed in search engine results. So you've got the Google business page, but you can also do a similar listing on Bing as well. Now you can share lots of information on this listing. So you can have your contact details, you can have your hours of operation, you can create FAQ section, you can put blogs up on there, you can direct traffic back to your website. It's such a great tool for you to use, and particularly Google. It's the largest search engine in the world. Why would you not do it? But as like most things in the web space, you want to make sure that it's not a set and forget, that you are regularly adding content and keeping your listing up to date. Another really good example, say you're I've just spent the weekend in the Hunter Valley wine region. So thinking of the Hunter Valley Gardens down there, if you've got a public holidays coming up, then you would update your hours to reflect those if they were changing, or even to put a message up there, no change or normal trading hours through the public holidays. So you've got to always think about updating that as well, and it's going to be a really valuable source of traffic for your website, for your business. And then online reviews. So that's a really, really great source of potential site traffic as well. And you can use your Google business page or Google reviews, and that will help drive not only the visibility, but the credibility of your business as well. You can also choose to add a third-party review tool. So Facebook provides a reviews functionality. You've got tools like TripAdvisor if you're in the travel and tourism space as well. And you can look to encourage those reviews through various customer touch points on that post-purchase path, and give your customers a choice of options as to where review. Or if you as a business have said, we're going to focus on driving reviews through TripAdvisor, or we're going to drive reviews through Google, then you just give them that one spot to go and do your review. And just a reminder, there's no need to be afraid of reviews. If you are providing a great service, a great product, a great experience, then the majority of the time your reviews are going to reflect this. And should you happen to get a negative review, be sure to acknowledge, investigate, and respond to that review. And if you haven't already listened to episode 6, I dive into how to deal with negative reviews a little bit deeper. So you might want to pop back and have a listen to that one. All right, number 9 on our SEO tips is social media. I highly recommend using 1 or 2 social media platforms to not only drive brand awareness, engagement, and lead generation. It will also obviously link back to your website, and when you have specific content where relevant, you can link that back to your website as well. It will definitely aid your SEO efforts, as their domain authority will generally always be better than yours, unless you are, say, a Coca-Cola of the world. But most small to medium-sized businesses just won't get a domain authority higher than a social media platform. So it can be a really great way to get that extra. It's just like a backlink strategy for you. I think back, a great example I always quite often refer to is if I'm searching for a business or a person, their Facebook or LinkedIn profile will quite often display higher in search results than their own website. So you do want to make sure, it's a really great way for you to make sure that you do come up and rank you're taking up more of the search engine results, because you're going to come up not only in your own website, but in those social media channels as well. So it will keep you top of mind, but it's also going to help to build you up as an expert in your field or your industry, what you sell, what you do. And then coming in at number 10 in our list of top tips for SEO success is the power of local or niche media. Here you want to identify which media outlets can assist your business and take the time to build relationships with them. So give them positive reasons to share information about your business services or your products. Seek out an offer to be a contributor to a segment of their newspaper or their magazine, their blog, their radio show, or their podcast. I know I've got a client on the Gold Coast, Andy Von Zeppelin, and he's a travel agent, has a travel business, and he talks on a local radio show in relation to their travel segment. So what could you do? What local or niche content creating business could you approach and look to be part of their content? So you can share your product or service with them in the right context. It's really great for them because they have to come up with all this content all the time, fresh new content all the time. So whether they're journalists or bloggers, they're always on the hunt for newsworthy content. So if you can create an angle that is unique, it is very likely that you're going to pique their interest and they will want to feature you. So some pitch ideas might include you're sponsoring a charity event, you've won an award, you have the exclusive distribution or sales rights of a new product or service. You're the first business in your area to introduce, product or service X. You might have a team member who's doing X to raise money for charity Y. So there's a heap of different ideas that you could look at to come up with a pitch to then target your local or a specific niche media. And when you get that, then you can get that link back to your website as well. So there you go. Today we've covered quite a lot in this particular episode. Go back, listen to it again if you need to. You can also look at the show notes. I always include those for you as well. But now you're armed with 10 tips to SEO success for your business. And by reviewing and actioning each of these 10 tips, you'll be confident that you're going to have a positive impact on driving that search engine, the search traffic to your website. Thanks for joining in today.
Thanks for listening to the What Matters Marketing Show. You can support the podcast by hitting follow or leaving a review. For more great marketing information to help build your business and a life that you love, head to whatmattersmarketing.com.